Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
And it's a chilly start out there this morning with a frost advisory overnight tonight. I'll show you what to expect with these chilly temperatures.
Schools making budget cuts. Your chance today to tell leaders in Wake County what you think schools need most.
Plus, a Cash App robbery. A man was caught on camera holding someone up for a digital money transfer.
That's the world's dumbest criminal, I guess.
Why law enforcement officers say this type of theft would lead to a quick arrest. Good morning, everyone. It is 6 o'clock on your Wednesday morning. We've hit the midpoint of the week. It is time to rise and shine, and we are doing our best to shine with a little help from caffeine. I'm Renee Chu.
I'm Jeff Ogie. Yeah, it's great to have you along here. We'll get over the hump together with that. Not as windy, probably not as warm today, but Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center right now, and a very cool start. You're going to need the jacket today.
I was very happy to grab mine walking out the door. We take a live look at Durham. Looks beautiful. That sun really starting to light up the horizon there by the TPAC. 48 is our current temperature in the Triangle. Our wind is fairly light out of the west at 3 miles per hour. There's a frost advisory for tonight. Temperatures will be even colder with some upper 30s to low 40s. And again, our western counties under that frost advisory. We'll go into a little more detail about that in a few minutes. But looking widespread at 40s this morning, except for Fayetteville at 51. So it's chilly. Our temperatures are running 10 to 20 degrees colder than this time yesterday. At lunchtime, 60. We'll see a high of 68 this afternoon with lots of sunshine. And I'll show you why it won't be as windy as it was yesterday. Coming up, Ken.
Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. Let's start in the Bold City. Give you a live look at I-885 and TW Alexander Drive. Traffic is beginning to pick up just a bit, but you expect that this time of the morning. Elsewhere in the Bold City and Hillsborough, Chapel Hill, all those major routes are delay-free as we widen out the view, bringing Wake County and all points east. We do have that one crash to report, but nothing that's going to make you late this morning. You're getting ready to head into the car. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Ken, thank you. Tonight, you can share your thoughts about possible budget cuts in Wake County Public Schools. A vote on the budget is expected in just a few weeks. WRAL's Laura Levine joins us live from Abbott's Creek Elementary. And Laura, this is one of the last few chances parents have to voice their concerns about the budget.
Renee, good morning. Advocates and educators, they say that they need more school resources and support inside these school buildings, not less. And that's exactly why they are eager to sit face to face with the Board of Education today here at Abbott's Creek Elementary School to have some of their concerns heard. Now, we know the school board needs a $60 million increase to maintain the operating budget, but the superintendent's proposal only requests $40 million with cuts to employee benefits and staff reductions. The Wake president of the North Carolina Association of Educators, she tells me that they are advocating for a no-cuts budget, urging the county commission to fully fund the school district's request. They're also calling on state lawmakers to do more.
I hate that the burden is on counties all across the state. Like, the General Assembly also has to do their job. For decades, they have underfunded schools. The Senate's budget is dismal. A 3.3 increase over 2 years doesn't even account for inflation and the cost of living in this state. That would alleviate the burden on school boards and counties.
So the information session tonight taking place here, it's going to run from 6:15 to 8:15. And then there's one more public information session following this before the Board of Education comes together and sends their proposal to county commissioners. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Happening this morning, teachers in Durham plan to hold walk-in protests at more than 20 schools. The Durham Association of Educators will be picketing and passing out flyers to families and coworkers. This is video from a similar walk-in protest last year. The educators are pushing for support of solutions they propose for the school system's budget shortfall. They are also asking for school board members to commit to other proposals before the end of the school year.
Video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker shows a crash that happened around 3:30 this morning on Glenwood Avenue near Peace Street. 2 cars were involved. No serious injuries were reported.
A new wildfire is burning in western North Carolina. This one is near Little Switzerland in McDowell County. The Bee Rock branch fire has burned an estimated 175 acres of land. It is currently 0% contained. An evacuation order is still in place for the Wild Acres area off the Blue Ridge Parkway. The North Carolina and U.S. Forest Services are working with local fire departments to monitor the fire.
Today, a proposal to change the way state employee pensions are invested will be debated by state lawmakers. It involves Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey joins us live from the legislative building in Raleigh. And Kelsey, there are billions of dollars at stake here.
Yes, Jeff, state lawmakers are considering making changes to your retirement benefits. They'll walk through what works and what doesn't here at the legislative building later today. They're considering using cryptocurrency like Bitcoin for state pensions. This comes after the state treasurer said our pension plan benefits are some of the lowest in the country. Some states are already using cryptocurrency for pensions, like Wisconsin and Michigan. Our NC Capitol team has been following this bill in the House for the past several weeks. WRAL state government reporter Will Doran says support for the bill doesn't fall along party lines, but generational ones.
We have a lot of older lawmakers who were pretty skeptical of this. We heard people say, I don't know what Bitcoin is. I wouldn't put my money into it. I'm certainly not going to put potentially billions of dollars of retirees' money into this. But younger lawmakers are very excited about the proposal.
Will discuss this bill in a House committee, so we'll be sure to keep you updated if there's a vote. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
A video clip shared to Reddit shows what appears to be a robbery with a person demanding money and asking for a man's Cash App. Listen here.
Where your Cash App at?
This happened near Justin Court and Camellia Drive in Durham. We reached out to several law enforcement agencies who say this request is highly unusual and could quickly lead to an arrest.
You create a digital footprint that will actually help law enforcement find you easier and track you and provide to the DA's office just a substantial amount of evidence that you were involved in this.
Well, here's the thing. The gunman got away with the victim's cash. He did not get a digital payment.
Your time is 6:06 here on the WRAL Live Center. This is coming in within the past 30 minutes or so. The Supreme Court in the United Kingdom ruled today that apparently they're saying that they define a woman as someone who is born biologically female, and 5 judges ruled this unanimously. They said essentially the terms women and sex in the Equalities Act for that country refers to a biological woman and biological sex. But they say that this should not mean that a person is able to be discriminated against. They say that the ruling does not remove protection from trans people. Essentially, this means that a transgender person with a certificate recognizing them as female should not be considered a woman in terms of equality in that country. I have looked on social media to see any particular reactions to this. It seems like it's still pretty fresh. I didn't see anything from Prime Minister Keir Starmer, but I'll be watching very closely to see more reactions after this pretty big update over in the UK.
Yeah, Chris, thanks for that. Meantime, dozens of NC State students and community advocates took a stand against sexual violence. They marched through campus and part of Hillsborough Street yesterday for the annual Take Back the Night event. Organizers want to bring awareness to sexual assault in the university setting and in the community. Survivors of sexual assault also shared their personal stories.
2 U.S. service members are dead and a third is in critical condition after they crashed a vehicle while patrolling the border with Mexico. This happened yesterday in New Mexico near the state line with Texas. The names of the victims have not been released. A Defense Department task force is investigating the crash. Thousands of troops have been deployed to the border in recent months.
The body of a U.S. Army soldier is back in North Carolina. Respects were shown as Staff Sergeant Trevor Daniels' casket was brought out on the tarmac at RDU. His family was there for his emotional flag-draped return. Munden Funeral Home says his body arrived around 9:30 Monday night in Morehead City. And on Facebook, funeral planners say they want to bring awareness to the mental health struggles our service members battle each day.
In Orange County, approval for a new crisis intervention center. The County Board of Commissioners approved the project on Waterstone Drive near the UNC Hospital's Hillsborough campus. The facility will help provide services including behavioral health and urgent care. Groundbreaking is expected to happen this year with a grand opening for 2027. 6:08 now. Tariff on toys. Industry leaders say Christmas could be more expensive or face supply chain issues this year. How Chinese manufacturing covers much of the toy and collectibles market.
And a new CDC report shows diagnosis of autism in young children is on the rise. Experts explain why the rate may be going up. And Elizabeth Gardner tracking a chilly morning.
It is. Temperatures at first bell in the mid to upper 40s, so the kids should be more comfortable probably in a jacket. It's a cool afternoon, too. When the school bell rings, temperatures will be in the upper 60s. I'll show you who's under a frost advisory for tonight coming up.
Also, here's a look at your winning Mega Millions numbers: 6, 10, 13, 24, 63. The Mega Ball is 2.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
612 is a pretty start out there. We're going to see a nice warm afternoon. Temperatures are going to climb into the mid 60s as we get through the afternoon, some low 70s down to the south. So a pretty day for us. It's a chilly start this morning. Our temperatures have started off mostly in the 40s. We do have some breezy conditions in our forecast. Yesterday, the winds were gusting up to 35, almost 40 miles per hour. Not quite as windy today. We'll see some gusts up to around 20, maybe up to 25 miles per hour. And we take a look at our frost advisory. Cold temperatures overnight tonight with a northerly flow. Our western counties are under that frost advisory. Definitely the northern counties have the potential for a little bit of patchy frost. We are still on track for a warm Easter holiday weekend. I'll show you when we start a long string of highs in the 80s. Coming up, Ken.
Elizabeth, all new into the WRAL Traffic Center. We just have a report of a driver needing some assistance right there at Sunnybrook and Newbern Avenue. That's the Wake Med complex right there, but we're not seeing any delays in the area. So if you have an appointment at the hospital, you're going in that vicinity, you shouldn't have anything to worry about. Elsewhere, all the major routes are delay-free at this hour. You're getting ready to head into the car, though. Tune us in on the radio. We'll keep you updated on your drive to wherever you're going. 101.5 HD3.
There has been a dramatic rise in diagnoses of autism in children over the past 2 decades. The CDC released a new report yesterday. Michelle McConaughey is here now to break down those numbers. Michelle.
Renee, the study found about 1 in every 31 kids was diagnosed with autism by age 8 in 2022. That's up from 1 in 36 in 2020 and 1 in 150 in the year 2000. The findings are based on an analysis of medical records from 16 sites in 14 states. It continues a long-term trend that experts have largely attributed to a better understanding of and screening for the condition. Doctors are just better than ever at identifying autism, with awareness at an all-time high. President Trump and Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. have said that it is critical to find what's causing autism in children. Last week, the Department of Health and Human Services launched a massive testing and research effort with the goal of identifying the cause of the epidemic by September. But the new report says better diagnostic practices that can help explain many of these recent findings.
New this morning, the CEO of the nation's toy industry says Christmas is at risk for kids because of the trade battle between the U.S. and China. Greg Ahern of the Toy Association made that comment during an appearance on television, and he says China is not producing toys because of the tariffs, and major retailers in the U.S. are canceling orders. He says American companies can't replace the production of factories in China.
It's the face painting on a doll. It's the hair decorating. It's placing them the correct way in packaging. A lot of this is hand labor that can't be automated here in the U.S.
Ahern says it could take 3 to 5 years for the U.S. to build up the specialization needed to catch up with Chinese toy making.
Newly released body cam video is giving a look at officers entering the home of Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy Arakawa on the day they were found dead. The video shows officers at times with guns drawn, checking every room of the couple's home. Investigators say Hackman died of heart failure on February 18th. They believe he lived nearly a week inside the home with his wife's body after she died of the rare hantavirus. It's a respiratory illness spread by infected rodents. And according to an environmental assessment, no rodents were found in the main house, but rodent droppings were found in several other buildings on the property.
A former IRS investigator who testified in Hunter Biden's legal proceedings could be placed in charge of the Internal Revenue Service. Sources close to the president say Donald Trump will name Gary Shapley as acting commissioner of the IRS. Shapley provided whistleblower testimony claiming partisan bias by DOJ officials in the investigation of Hunter Biden. Shapley would be the fourth person to lead the IRS this year. The previous commissioner resigned over a data sharing agreement with Homeland Security.
The family of the man accused of setting fire to the Pennsylvania governor's mansion says they repeatedly sought help for him before the fire. Phone records show Cody Balmer's family called police and mental health agencies for help. Balmer's ex-girlfriend says police told them he did not meet the standards for involuntary commitment. Balmer is charged with attempted homicide, aggravated arson, terrorism, and other crimes. He appeared in court on Monday but did not enter a plea.
One less landlord in North Carolina is using unlawful AI software to charge unfair rent. State Attorney General Jeff Jackson announced a settlement with Cortland Management over RealPage. We first reported an effort to crack down on the software last summer. RealPage uses data from competing property management companies to price units, allowing several large companies to price out tenants. Under the agreement, Cortland must stop using the software and not share sensitive data from other landlords.
Today marks 14 years since a deadly tornado outbreak in North Carolina. In 2011, EF3 tornadoes touched down in Raleigh, Fayetteville, and Sanford. In Raleigh, one of the hardest hit areas was Stony Brook North Mobile Home Park. In that area alone, 27 homes were destroyed and 4 children died. A record number of 30 tornadoes were confirmed across our state that day. And those of us here will never forget that day. I remember covering the Stony Brook community in the days and weeks that followed. And I'll also remember just how neighbors helped neighbors and the community really came together in the aftermath. But it's a reminder of spring being severe weather peak and the importance of following severe weather instructions.
Absolutely. We don't have tornado outbreaks like that very often in North Carolina. We do cover those stories, for other parts of the country really regularly, especially this time of year. Our severe weather season mostly is March, April, and May, so we are right in the middle of it. Fortunately, we don't have any severe storms in our forecast, at least for the next week, and we can thank a big area of high pressure for that, and we'll take a look at that in just a few minutes. Coming up in our 7 o'clock hour on Fox 50, 8 o'clock hour as well, meteorologist Chris Michaels is going to talk a little bit more about some of the history behind that 2011 outbreak. In Fayetteville, Raleigh, Apex, Chapel Hill, we're seeing a beautiful sunrise, hardly a cloud in the sky. Chapel Hill's courtesy of Top of the Hill Restaurant, and just a lovely, lovely start this morning. We take a look at what's happening next as we get through the next several days. This high pressure system will be our biggest weather maker. First of all, it's dragging in some cold air behind yesterday's front. It looks like we're going to end up with some snow in the mountains of West Virginia. The ski resorts are closed right now, but that cold air will move into our area tonight, bringing a frost advisory for parts of the area. So our flow is now coming out of the northwest, so bringing cool temperatures for today and a chilly night tonight. But what happens next is this high pressure system builds up from the south and moves in and switches our wind direction to southwesterly. That really warms things up in time for the holiday weekend. And then we'll see this blocking pattern just staying put. So lots of rain and thunderstorms from Chicago to Dallas, but they won't move eastward at least through the weekend because of that blocking high pressure system. So severe storms possible Saturday and Sunday from the plains up all the way to say the northeast, but not for us because of that high pressure system. So it stays stormy in the plains. The warm front that will be associated with this brings that warm air in place just in time for the weekend, and it looks like our next best chance of a shower wouldn't be until Sunday night, Monday and Tuesday, and even then just a 20% chance. We're actually looking okay with rain. Notice those green shaded areas. All those areas in our viewing area have seen more than the average amount of rainfall for the last 30 days. Look at that. We kick off the 80s on Friday. Tomorrow morning, though, is going to be a very chilly start. We do have that frost advisory in effect. We're going to dig into that a little bit more deeply coming up in just a little bit. We're looking at temperatures in the 80s over the weekend, and I know that's going to make a lot of people happy.
I know, Virgin Islands weather. All right, Elizabeth, thanks. Hey, before we get to these two incidents here on the map, I want to get to these live pics courtesy of photographer Michael Joyner. We've got some live pictures of some utility lines down along Leesville Road. This is in Durham, just north of Andrews Chapel Road. It's in a residential area. You can see there's a police crews are there, cones are blocking off that road. We're working to get some more information about it, and as soon as we get it, to let you know if this will affect your morning commute, you see somebody taking a detour out there, I will let you know. Back here in the WRAL Traffic Center, just have a disabled vehicle in Sunnybrook and New Bern Avenue. A little bit east of farther down and east of New Bern Avenue, they got a crash on New Hope Road, but we're not seeing any delays in that particular area. All the other routes are delay-free at this hour.
Honoring music royalty, Loretta Lynn is getting a Broadway biography. What we know about the upcoming show, Coal Miner's Daughter.
And how about making mom proud? WNBA star Angel Reese bought her mom a house and helped her retire. How she's celebrating these big accomplishments.
This What's Trending report, sponsored by Rug & Home.
Honoring a country music legend with a stage performance.
Plus, vision board accomplishments for Angel Reese. Ken Smith here now with What's Trending on a Wednesday, Ken.
Yeah, Jeff and Renee, let's start with that country legend, Loretta Lynn. Well, her life story will be made into a Broadway musical titled Coal Miner's Daughter. It will follow her 1971 autobiographical album and, of course, her 1980 film. The Broadway adaptation will highlight Lynn's rise from a life of poverty in Butcher Hollow to one of the most successful women in country music history.
Such an inspirational story that is made for the stage, right? Well, you know the show will have incredible songs in it. Loretta Lynn lived to be 90 years old. She died in October of 2022.
Oh, she was one of the great ones, right? Hey, a WNBA star trending this morning. Angel Reese celebrating after retiring her mother and buying a home. She posted this photo with a big key in the kitchen of her new home to Instagram. She says these were two big items on her vision board knocked off in the first 4 months of this year.
Her mom posted on X how proud she is of the 22-year-old who, by the way, also has her degree from LSU.
Good for her.
Thanks, Ken. The North Carolina Zoo's George the Parrot is celebrating his 30th birthday. Zookeeper celebrated his big day by giving him some of his favorite foods, grapes, peas, and pomegranate. The zoo says George loves to sing along to music and spend time outdoors. Permit protest. This morning, several advocacy groups will rally at the state capitol against a proposal that will change state gun laws. Next, the bill they're calling dangerous and why some lawmakers are in support of it.
Plus, cuts to staffing and supplies. Tonight, you have a chance to weigh in on the possible budget cuts in Wake County schools. When the board is expected to vote on that budget, that's ahead.
And we've dropped down to 39 just now in Roxborough. So some chilly temperatures this morning. I'll show you why it will be even colder and who's under a frost advisory for tomorrow morning.
And here's a look at the winning lottery numbers.